I mean, I'm just kidding. Or am I? You gonna find out the hard way? Huh? Do ya? Huh? 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 Do ya? Huh? Nah, I didn't think so.
I don't know who you are, but I have nothing to gain by risking my hide against a lunatic. Commander out.
The UGL gunship is undocking from the station. They appear to be departing into space.
My dad used to say words have power. You proved him true.
Honestly, that was a lot easier than I thought. That person was very stupid. They wanted to talk, but then clearly they couldn't talk the talk. Oh, hang on a minute. Access the security systems, and I don't have an ID card. I do have a blank card, though. If I can figure out how to make it a board ID card. Sugar. Right, okay, automechanicals are now roaming the area. That is not good for me. And that door is still sealed, right? Okay, ladies. This is probably going to get nasty very quickly. But at least whoever that commander was isn't going to be bothering with us. Kind of want to get in here. Okay. So, the mechanicals that were active are no longer in here. That's barred, bugger. Can I, if I get to that terminal, can I disable them? Right. I mean, I know I can take them in a fight, but if we can avoid it, I'd rather would. Okay, come on. Let's... Right, security routines. Priority user, Kimball I. Oh, fantastic. Engage the automechanical recharge protocols. Recall in progress, recall successful. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Automechanicals charging protocol initiated. Okay, messages. To redacted, subject your concerns. So from to Kimball. You asked me that I reach out. I'm doing so. Is something going amiss with the team? How's their morale, their commitment to the project? Of course, morale is low. You gave those PhD tanks of nuclear scrambling gas and no warm bodies to test it on. What did you think was going to happen? Oh, right. You gave those PhDs tanks of nuclear and scrambling gas and no warm bodies to test it on. What did you think was going to happen? They can test on each other all they want, but no one lays a hand on my squad. I'm installing safeguards in case anyone challenges that decree. From Kimball. Right, Kimball was the security officer then, I assume. To Kimball, subject, bedtime story, it's a draft. To Kimball I. Oh, to Kimball A. Once upon a time, there was a princess who trained to be a soldier. While the other princesses got jobs at canneries and counting houses, the soldier squinted down her sights at the firing range and made sure she hit the target every time. Then, one day, a not very nice man offered her a job at an ivory tower far, far away from the kingdom. The princess could provide for her ailing father, her lovely child, and her goofball husband, but she would have to stay locked in the tower until the doctors could find a way out. Once she thought better of her choices, the princess applied for early dismissal, but no one listened. The end. I love you, Angelica. Maybe you can write me a better ending. Give your father a hug and tell him I'm sorry for missing another birthday. Mom. Well, I guess I read the Mechanicals a bedtime story. Oh,
Unexpected noise identified.
yeah, maybe wait until they're in there recharging before I go out again. Yep, that's it. Bed buys. There we go. Oh, yeah, no, don't let them see us through the window. So, let's close that. Did the staff turn on one another? I hope not. But I feel like that's where this is going. Terminal. Right, here we go. We can encode the key card from here. Lost the blank UDL key card, and we have gained an electrical control room key card. It's not quite what I wanted, but I will take it. Messages. From redacted, subject closing down. To station security. Closing down. A transport vessel has been dispatched to HRS 1084. I have taken the liberty of upgrading the sensitive materials containment rating of this asset, which means you are permitted to leave with company-branded consumables, but all personal effects must be left behind. Do not interfere with the tanks. A cleanup crew will dispose of all exhausted assets in time. Anyone who requires ethical correction therapy can speak to a Spacer Care-approved alienist. I do never, ever, ever want to come across an ethical correction therapy session. Personal files. Note on Gun 3J. James is gone and he never said goodbye. I keep telling myself that he wanted me to remember him as he was outside of the tank. Or maybe he was just bad at goodbyes. When I saw what was left of him, I wanted to airlock everyone who let it happen. You could have said something, James. We were never short on time. Nothing's keeping me here now. The bits aren't worth it. I've requested a transfer. I get the impression I'm not the only one. Oh, is that James in the tank? What did they do? What have they done to each other here? Note on Chief Kimball. Kimball thinks there will be trouble once the docks run out of warm bodies. If James was around, I know he'd set her straight. Now that he's gone, maybe I could use some convincing too. She showed up next to my bunk last night, said that if anything happened to her, her password was her daughter's name. Hope it never comes to that. So the password is Angelica. Password for what, though? Being up there. I don't know why I've used this maintenance tunnel when I can now use the door. And I'm sure, yeah, the terminal up there is busted, so I don't need to worry about finding out what's on there. But does she mean this?
Well, keep an eye on the floor.
Yeah, turned on power, can't get across there. Kind of called that one. Voila. Coordinates control helmets. Wait, is this a security room? Like an airlock? So is that set up in such a way that it's intended to kill whoever's trapped in that room? Checkpoint beta. Main menu, security routines. UDL Electrophore 3000 is online. Yeah, no, that's absolutely a security thing then. Let's disengage checkpoint security against probably my better judgment. Personal files. Log. Mama Bear. Kimball just came by asking if any of the docs had been around. I told her what I know. It's been quiet. Just ask Alpha. She walked off with a spring in her step. Okay. Weird. She then requisitioned a UDL Electrophore 3000 for my checkpoint, and a crate of concussion mines. Guess she didn't believe me. Is she preparing for war? She's acting like she knows something the rest of us don't. Seems especially uncomfortable around the docks. So, whatever the doctors were doing here, Kimball was onto them. What did they do to one another in those vats? Is that There's another vat up there. I can't tell what's in it, though. Is that another person? Oh, hang on a minute. There's more. Okay, I'm counting at least 3 vats. Before we go into what's going to potentially be a death room, let's have a gander on what there is in these other rooms. Nice little contained pods. Nicer than some of the living spaces I've seen around Halcyon. No hints as to what fate has befallen the good doctors. Because now I think about it, the terminal we read before implies that only security personnel left.
I never meet the people responsible for this. I'm shooting first, never asking questions.
Did they do this to one another? Examine. Subject, Dr. Charles McNulty. Current status, alive, unstable condition. Stasis setting active, so it is some kind of stasis pod. Subject should not be revived until a method of stabilizing his condition is found. In gratitude, Dr. Eva Chartrand, Lorelei Farl, James Guthrie, and Claire Pearsall. Okay. James Guthrie, alive, extremely unstable. Subject will need extensive nuclear resequencing for any chance of viable extraction. I'm so sorry it ended up like this, James. We will come back for you all and fix this. I swear on it. Please forgive us. Ava Chartrand, Dr. Lorelei Farl. And this will be the other person that was missing on that last sign-off. Dr. Claire Pearsall. Alive, unstable. Subject's condition is dire. Make sure resuscitation devices are on hand upon revival. Please hold on, Claire. We almost had it this time. I swear we'll bring you back. With love. The other 3, and they gave up with James then. But what were they doing? This is the barred room through security, where they're all charging up. This might require some effort to get through. Right, let's pick up all of this. Terminal. The personal terminal of Eva Chartrand. It has been 1,200 days since last login. Executive records classified. Security routines. We've already done all this. Project summary. Executive Research Focus Group E177J48. Purpose, biological hybridization and assimilation strategies. Active team members, Eva Chartrand and Lorelei Farl. Inactive members, J. Guthrie, C. McNulty, C. Pearsall, and T. Ryle. Goal, further the chimeric sciences via the targeted modification of human nuclein using strands obtained from Halcyon native fauna, classification C-Rapt T 1002, aka Raptidon. Messages. Station morale. It has come to my attention that a culture of distrust has soured relations between HRS 1084's research staff and security personnel. Many of you have submitted requests for early dismissal. To research staff, the importance of your work supersedes any interpersonal conflict. To our security personnel, there will be no early dismissal. You will also notice that your employment contract has no set end date. We can enjoy a discussion of morale and its impact on success metrics once the question of humanity's place in the Halcyon colony is answered. In the meantime, get back to work. Do the board, are they trying to find ways of keeping the Halcyon colonists alive now that it's been so long? Did they purposefully set them adrift, and now they've changed their minds now that they realised everything's going to hell, and now they're trying to wake them up? But for whatever reason, I'm going to assume one of their former head scientists, Mr. Phineas Wells, has parted ways with them, so they are looking for alternatives. Logs. Charlie. We almost lost Charlie. It was a runaway resequencing shift. Once it started, it kept going, spreading beyond the isolated tissue to a full-blown systematic infiltration. He said it was like every organ was itchy. I told him we'd ice him. Freeze him until we could work out how to reverse what had gone wrong. Every time Law walked by me, she rubbed my shoulders and asked me to take a different reading. They didn't need to be taken. It was just to keep my mind occupied. She's been checking on me every hour since. Claire. We had to put Claire on ice today. She and the others drew straws. Claire lost. The change was slower this time. At first, the resequence stayed within normal parameters, but then it spread again, just like with Charlie. Tomorrow, I'm reaching out to my handler directly. I need some answers. I wonder how Guthrie's doing. I hear symphony music from under his door. Access outbound con transcript. Transmission begins. Eva, is anyone listening on this frequency? Redacted. Who is this? Eva, I'm the project lead on 1084. I wanted... Station 1084. You have orders to maintain wireless silence until a mission end state is achieved. Executive override password... Antediluvian. That's the same password as at the other facility. On Monarch. Redacted. Audible sigh. What can I do for you, Doctor? The board told me they would deliver my queries about our transcription problems on the Cornelius Vanderbilt. Where are we with that? I'm afraid I can't provide an updated status at this time, Doctor. The assault cruiser should have arrived on Earth by now. My query was addressed to the Chimerical Research Department at George de Hevesy Institute in Budapest. Redacted. One of my associates will reach out when we have an update. When? Aren't you in contact with the assault cruiser? What happened out there? Station 1084. Misuse of this channel is a fireable offence, as is abusing your executive override, save in cases of emergency. Damn it, this is an emergency. Transmission ends. Executive override for user Chartran D discontinued, duration indefinite. So we're not in contact with Earth. James. The log is being entered by Dr. Farl. I had to prescribe Dr. Chartrand enough sedatives to knock her out. Oh. This log is being entered by Dr. Farl. I had to prescribe Dr. Chartrand enough sedatives to knock out a primal. Yesterday morning, Dr. Guthrie and I drew straws to decide which of us would be the next test subject. He pulled the short one. No new developments. After all of our sacrifices, it feels like we're miles away from a breakthrough. Eva hasn't forgiven herself for the losses. Maybe some time away from HRS 1084 will clear her mind. The board confirmed the receipt of my report and transmitted our recall notice. We're just awaiting transport. I wish we could take time away from the project to clear our heads. But we're not even close to that point. So, it's not that the project was cancelled, it was they were simply moved away from 1084. Okay. How are we going to get through here? Oh, indeed. Journal. So, this is the override terminal. Ah, here we go. So, modify access protocols. Admin location Byzantium. Username HHCVP0257. VP Vice President. What was the Vice President's name again? Right, insert sublight override cartridge. Transfer of administrative privileges successfully completed. Admin location groundbreaker, bloody blah. Unlock personal quarters.
Job done. We can go home to the ship, right? I've been missing Ada fierce. Hold on a tick. Don't we know Chartrand? From Cascadia?
Chartrand? Hang on a minute. You, Pavati, are amazing. Where did we meet Chartrand? Now you mention it, I absolutely remember Chartrand. But where? That is quite frustrating that I can't remember quite where. We're gonna have to ask Lilia some questions. She's onto something, clearly, and I feel like we're getting onto something too. Now that, I don't think I would mind a little piece of glass between us and the void when it's just like this. It's not a bad view. Now, safe. Nothing exciting, but we'll take it. Bit cartridges, mag picks. No, nothing else in here. Eva Chartrand. Where did we see Eva Chartrand? That's gonna eat at me. That really is gonna eat at me. Right, well, we're done here. We can go back to Groundbreaker. And for the moment, whatever's happening on Gorgon, I think it can wait.
I wish to offer my commendations for convincing the UDL's gunship to leave HRS-1084. I did not favor the idea of being stripped and sold for parts.
Well, thank you, Ada. I would not let that happen to you or the Unreliable, which I suppose you are the Unreliable. This is home, and your family. Because I'm not making you go anywhere. You run the ship. I think I'm going to go to Monarch. I kind of want answers about this Eva Chartrand situation now. So we're going to go to Stellar Bay. We're going to get the meal, the casserole for Pavati. And then she mentioned Cascadia for the dessert.
We're now in orbit above Stellar Bay, Captain.
Thank you, Ada. Let's try hold out on our pick-me-up so we actually need it. Right, we need Pavati. We should take Nyoka. This is her home turf. So... Casserole. This might be the place. Nobody at the bar? Chef? Ah, Chef Raymond.
Whoa, by the stars, my poor heart. I just about pissed my jumpsuit.
Oh, not in the kitchen, please. Sorry, I didn't mean to startle you.
Most people don't. Besides, this place is enough to try anyone's nerves.
Yeah, I bet. Well, how is that then?
Where should I begin? With the oversized mantisaurs? Or perhaps the rats spewing acid at our walls? The board was right. This place isn't fit for human habitation. And I was a fool for staying.
I mean, you've got the iconoclast on your side now. Surely things aren't going to be that bad. Why did you even decide to stay in the first place?
Sanjar, of course. He had all these glorious ideas about how he'd run Monarch. Rest periods between every work shift. No shift more than 10 hours long.
You company folk are all the same. Choose to stay, then complain about the choice you've made.
How was I supposed to know it'd turn out like this?
I mean, it was ambitious.
It all sounds wonderful, until you realize there's only a few centimeters of repurposed steel between you and the deadliest creatures in the galaxy.
But, as I say, you've got the iconoclast on your side now. But I do appreciate it sounds like you want more than a couple of centimeters. I'd like a couple of feet, maybe a couple of miles.
I could do with a few kilometers of cold vacuum, but that spaceship is flown.
Well, I'll spare you a thought when I'm on my spaceship. Well, my engineer, back on point, she's looking to get a dustback casserole. Do you know the recipe for that?
That was a real popular meal 10, 20 years back, before the board tucked tail and ran.
I'm gonna guess you don't know the resources.
These days, everybody's had a belly full of salt tuna. They all want borscht. And the mushrooms, well, not many venture out of town, what with the monsters hereabouts. I can whip one up for you, but it'll cost. Here's a menu.
Oh, yikes. I can't cover this much, Captain.
Wait, how much are we talking? Hang on a minute, do you take me for an idiot? There's no casserole in the world that's gonna cost me 3,000 bits.
What? No, Captain, I don't want you to do it this way.
No, we've been
All right,
conned.
miss. I'm a coward at heart. Made that clear from the outset. Look, Captain, this is the best I can do without putting myself out of business.
Oh. Right, well, I'm glad you saw reason. Because I'm not spending 3,000 bits on a casserole. That's a lot of bits. I can buy a whole new gun for that. Right here, look. 2,000 bits, final offer.
I'm mighty glad you reckon so. This is gonna take about an hour in the oven. Nothing I can do to speed it. That's just how cooking works.
Yep, fair enough. I'm sorry, Pavati, that got a little heated, but
There we are.
we were being conned.
Now, if you don't mind, I really need to take a leak.
My belly's gurgling just to smell it, Mr. Raymond. Thank you so much.
Yep, thank you.
A pleasure to help such a charming young lady. You're a gentle soul, miss. Be careful with this one, all right? He's kind of a brute.
I'm not a brute.
Gosh, my tum's rumbling just smelling that casserole.
I know, it smells good. If it didn't cost 2,000 bits a casserole, I'd order one myself. Now, Pavati, we've got your casserole.
The dustback casserole Mr. Raymond made smells incredible. Oh, I kind of want to take a little taste. But I'm gonna be strong.
Yep, be strong.
Now
We'll
look
both
how
be
these
strong.
Cakes from Cascadia are. Someone even traced little hearts in them. I guess that settles dinner.
Oh, you sorted it then?
Thanks for hauling me all over creation, Captain.
You're welcome. Yeah, you're absolutely welcome. Shouldn't you wait? Hang on a minute. You should be getting ready for Junlei now, then. Should you? You've got the cakes. Well, I wasn't looking, apparently.
Well, I was gonna, but then it hit me.
Yeah.
I got this nice meal all planned out with music, and I got that soap to scrub up with, but I don't got nothing nice to wear, Captain.
Oh, well. Oh, do you really need to do all of this? It feels like you're putting off the date, but I can't call you out on that. I mean, I'm sure you're fine as you are.
I'm fine for overhauling an engine, maybe. There's this place I heard of in Byzantium, Joliker's Haberdashery. I bet I could find something nigh on perfect at a place like that.
Well, well, I suppose it's a good thing we got a nav key for Byzantium, then.
Vicar would say it's the universal equation at work. I reckon it's just that 90% of everything that ain't crap is in Byzantium.
Well said.
I know this is all a little crazy, Captain, but I think it's gotta be this place. I saw the lady who runs it on Aetherwave, and, well, she made everybody she dressed feel better. Confident.
Ah, that's what it's about. Okay. All right, we'll swing by when we can. Next time first time we're there, I guess.
Thanks, Captain. I know I've been asking a lot, but you help me out every time. You're the best.
Thank you. You're the best too. Best engineer a man could ask for. Well, we're going to Byzantium, so it is just as well, and as Pavati says, it's probably the universal equation at work. I probably shouldn't mock Max quite so much.
You ever been off Monarch, Mioka? Before you met the captain, I mean.
Nah, I mostly just drank and hunted. Soon as you stop to dream of other things, that'll be the day something sneaks up and eats you.
Don't fret, I'm watching your back now. Anything tries to eat us, I'll give it a mighty whack on the nose.
Well, I'll be damned. You watch my back, I'll watch yours.
She's a protective one, is Pavati. I do appreciate that. Okay, let's go back to Groundbreaker. It's next to Terra 2, and I'm assuming that's where Byzantium is. It It is, okay. So we're going to Groundbreaker. We're going to give Lilia an update. We're going to let her know that UDL was following her. Or us,
We've
rather.
arrived at the Groundbreaker.
Thank you. Actually, that's a point. The UDL commander said they'd been following us since Cascadia. And that's where we first heard mention of Eva Chartrand. Right, I fixed up the inhaler with some mind attributes. There we go. We're nice and sharp, as we can be, for our next conversation with Lilia. Hi, Tobias. Lilia.
Finally, a base of our own. Soon we'll have eyes on every corner of the system. Well done, Captain.
You're most welcome. I hope you're going to pay me a suitable amount for that. I should let you know, you will find Automech salvage waiting new owners. But the base had scientists in suspension tanks. Some of them might still be alive.
I heard about that. While my lawyers scratch their heads wondering how we deal with human salvage, I'm leaving the researchers in hibernation.
Well,
Aside from the automated security, did you meet any resistance at the station?
yeah, right. I'm not lying to her on this. I don't really like the fact that you're speaking about those people like human salvage, but I'm glad you're leaving them in hibernation so you know what to do with them. Resistance at the station. There was a UDL gunship that buzzed the station. They did threaten to tear my ship apart, but I'd managed to convince them to back off.
I knew it. They've been shadowing us since Monarch, maybe even longer. I've been less than honest with you. Your assignments weren't strictly about the salvage business. You might have figured that out already.
I had a little feeling. Rare gas and a lab that tested it on the people. It's not really a coincidence, is it?
You have an eye for patterns. Good. We need more contractors like you. After the Monarch job, I started connecting the dots. I didn't like the picture. Then what we found at Station 1084 confirmed my fears. You and I have stumbled onto something big. Something none of us were meant to know.
Is this about the experiments conducted by Eva Chartrand? And you had my interest, now you have my attention.
Glad to know it, Captain. Ask yourself why a skeleton crew was studying that Alta Vitae gas in secret. Ask yourself why stockpiles were hidden on a planet full of monsters.
I'm guessing you have an idea, but it does answer the question. Can't quite remember who said it. Was it Ellie? That the corporations usually like to do their illegal research out in the open because it's cheaper that way. They did go through the expense of hiding their illegal research, as you say, on a random skeleton crew station and also a planet full of monsters.
Before we go any further, I want you to keep an open mind. Can you do that for me, Captain?
Honestly, at this point, when we met, I thought you were just a bit of a paranoid lunatic, but yes, at this point, yes, I can do that for you.
Aliens. I'm talking about aliens. They're the ones responsible for the deaths at 1084, and who knows what else. We have to put a stop to it.
Aliens. Right, okay. I know you said keep an open mind. I thought we were going into a board conspiracy. I didn't realize we were going into aliens.
I'm saying it's aliens. I'm not asking you to like it. I'm not even asking you to believe it. But I need to act on this threat to the colony, and I can't do it alone.
This doesn't feel at all right, Captain.
It doesn't, does it?
Right. I'm done. I'm officially tuning you out until such time as I hear the words payment and/or shooting.
The crew is skeptical. That's good. I don't want you walking into the unknown with blindfolds on. I assume you have questions?
You assume correctly. I have more than a few.
If we're gonna see this through, I'll need your trust and commitment. Now's the time for setting doubts aside.
And I have more than a few of those too. When you say aliens, what are we talking about here? Do we mean that the board are engineering aliens, that they're trying to, mix humans with, like, raptidons, for example? Are we talking about simply other people from outside of the system, as in they're alien to here? Or are we talking, the good old-fashioned flying saucer kind of alien?
Conspiracy. One carried out with the help of human collaborators, assuming they haven't all been replaced.
Okay.
This is an invasion of our very cells. That damned gas is mixing our nucleon with Halcyon biology to twist us, change us, make us more like those monsters on Monarch.
Okay. Well, I'm with you on invasion of our very cells. They're clearly trying to mix the human nucleon with Halcyon biology. But I can't say I've seen evidence of aliens.
No kidding. That's how they want it. When I lined up the evidence in my spreadsheet, there was only one possible conclusion looking back at me. This is my data talking, not my anxiety or lack of sleep.
How little sleep are you running on, Lilia? Right, so what do you suggest we do?
Dr. Chartrand is the crooked psychopath behind the gas experiments. She sold out her species, and I need you to put a bullet through her skull.
Oh, right. And I don't believe I'm going to do that. And from what I read, she was taking it harder than anyone, what was happening in the lab with her colleagues all now in suspended animation. Why does Dr. Chartrand need to die?
She's a research scientist and a damn good one. Before UDL poached her, she engineered a 0.2% increase in cystipig juiciness. Now she's doing the same thing with humanity. Her fingerprints were all over Station 1084. You saw what she did to her team.
And it was eating away at her. When did Sublight even get so principled? Or is this simply, oh, I'm looking at the bigger picture?
It's cute that you'd think that about me. I just want to add Savior of Humanity to my resume.
Modest.
I've got ambitions outside of this office, you know. Besides, this way Sublight gets first dibs on alien salvage.
Okay, this is all business for you then. And, okay, well, the science labs I passed through, they didn't seem that evil.
Do you usually come across innocent people trapped in suspension tanks? Because some of us would call that excessive.
I mean, I'm not saying it's
Remember,
ethical.
The tanks were just the shit she left behind. Just imagine the experiments she carted off to her next lab.
Right, so where does Chartrand fit into your alien conspiracy theory? Do you just think she's working for the aliens and sold us out? What's the motive here?
We're far beyond theories. Chartrand's logs, the gas, the suspension tanks, how much proof do you need? Wake up, Captain.
Need a little bit more than that.
The invasion needs collaborators working from the shadows. She has access to the board, unlimited funds, and a colony full of sheep.
Wake up, sheeple, is that it? Murder, it's not covered under my contractor employment agreement, though. That's the thing. Don't want to talk technical terms, but that's what it says.
Just think of it as salvaging hope from the smoking wreckage of humanity.
Oh, I'm glad we can bend the rules on
This is
this.
your initiation into a future with Sublight. Want a steady position in our ranks? Buy one with a bullet.
I'm not sure I want a future with sublights. I'm all for doing the odd job. You know, I gotta pay my crew somehow. But what do I get out of joining up? I really don't know about this.
If you don't want the job, just walk away. I'm giving you first dibs because you've seen what's at stake.
Right, I'm going to accept the job, because this way she's not going to send anyone else after poor Ava Chartrand for a while, at least. It'll give us a chance to find out where she is, and hopefully give us the opportunity to speak to her.
This keycard will get you through the front door of her Byzantium estate. Don't ask how I got it. You might not like the answer. By now, the other side knows what you're doing. Don't trust anything Chartrand says. She's compromised down to the bone. Maybe even deeper than that.
She might be compromised, but she might not be a lunatic. Come on. Honestly, not at all certain what to make of all of this. But we're agreed we're not killing her. We're not killing her. I know I said we accepted the job, but we're not killing her. We just want to talk to her, because I want to know the truth about those experiments. I want to know what's happening. I don't believe it's aliens. That's too... You're right, Adrona is unbelievable. It's too far-fetched. I'm not doing it.